I am so excited to be diving into family baskets again. It is something that I did with my younger children when we first started homeschooling, and when we moved, life got busy, and we just started doing like the core subjects. And with Killian starting kindergarten, I've just been really nostalgic for those early days of homeschooling. And I was trying to think of what it was I missed. And I realized that one of the things that I got out of homeschooling was that time when we just gathered together at the kitchen table or on the couch in the living room, and we did our family subjects or morning baskets, book baskets, whatever you want to call them. And the past couple of years, I've just felt like, well, I haven't really had time for that. But with my baby starting kindergarten, it's like I am going to make time. So this is what I've got starting out. I do have some other stuff that I want to add. I may take some of the stuff away. I want to add my Life of Fred books a little bit later. I don't want it to be too overwhelming at first, especially for the 5-year-old, because he's not used to having to sit still. So I don't want to add too much stuff. This is not going to be an everyday thing. Wednesday, we have Bible study. Tuesdays, Amity has decided that she wants to take an art class. So either Monday or Tuesday, she'll be gone to that. So that's at least 2 days of the week that will be out of the home. But my goal is to try to do this at least 3 days a week. And then I want to, mix it up a little bit. I want to add some Life of Fred books. Matson and Amity loved those. I think Killian would really enjoy them too. There's a Christmas unit I want to do. Like, I've just got a whole lot of ideas, but I'm just trying to take it slow and ease them into the school year. So to start off with, one thing we will be doing every day is a Bible verse. So I found some of our old Bible quiz cards, and so I want to focus on a verse a week. And so just pick a verse a week. We're going to memorize that verse. We're going to discuss that verse, and that will just be our verse of the week. We're starting out with Proverbs 18:10, which says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe." So that's going to be our verse of the week for our first week of school. And then for our read aloud, we're starting with Pilot Benny's Amazing Amazon Adventures. And so this is short stories about a missionary to Brazil. And I want to try to do one read aloud a month. I think with shorter books that might be doable. When we get into the longer things, it might take us a couple months. But this is the one we're starting out with because I thought it would be really interesting and funny and fun. This author has a very good way of telling stories and making them humorous, but also where you get a lot out of them. So that's our first read aloud. Now, to go along with this, my older children and myself, we're going to be doing some notebooking. And so we each have a notebook. And so at the end of every chapter, we're just going to write a couple sentences of what that chapter was about. And I'm going to model for them. And then at the end of the book, they're going to take all of their notebooking, all of their notebooking notes and write just a little paragraph or do an oral presentation of what the book is about, because I really want to work on their reading comprehension and their writing. Also, every day, they love these. We have 3 of them, I think. I don't know if he's published anymore, but we have the first three. My oldest loves science. He's very mathematically and scientific mind. So, but it's just a really short devotional that has a scientific fact from a creationist standpoint, and then also ties in a little devotional and spiritual aspect. So we love these. So we're going to be going through these again and just doing one a day, or 1 to 3 days that we're able to do our family baskets. Now, these are fun schooling journals from the Thinking Tree. I think is the Thinking Tree is the official company's website. But I have a ton of these, and my kids have done some throughout the years. I bought myself one. I never started it, but I'm determined that this year I am going to do better as well. So I just got me this mom schooling journal, and it's got coloring and doodling and spelling activities for mom and ideas and reading time, copy work. Just a good way to model for them what I expect them to be doing. This one is Killian's, so it is just additional handwriting practice and some coloring sheets, some little just puzzles, age-appropriate puzzles, some drawing. So just something for him to participate and be involved during our journaling time. Amity wanted to start out the year with this Math Mysteries. I don't make them finish a whole book before going to another book. They each have 2 or 3 that they're working on, but I understand I get bored really easily, and so do they. So she's already started on this one a little bit. She's done half a page, but so this one's all about creating your own math problems, and there's some coloring and drawing and fun stuff there. Matson chose the mythological creatures, so he's already colored the first page. But these you do a lot of research too, which is it has creative writing, it has puzzles, it has drawing, it has some research. Where did this creature originate? Write down facts about this creature. So he'll actually either have to check out books from the library or get on the internet and research whatever creature he's on. So this is, what is this one about? So the Cyclops. So, but like I said, they each have 2 or 3 of these going, and I don't mind for them to have 2 or 3 and then switch them out when they get bored. But Matson is going to be alternating between this and this Fix It Grammar. He started this, like he's almost done with it, like he's done that much of it, and so he only likes that much. And I love Fix It Grammar. I think it's awesome grammar practice, and that's something he struggles with. So he's also going to be doing this, and he can either choose to do it with his journal or in place of his journal for that day. But I at least want him doing this at least once or twice a week, just to get in some extra grammar practice until the book's finished, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to go ahead and order level 3 for him to work on. So in addition to that, so that's kind of the everyday stuff. This poor book I rescued from a yard sale. I think I gave $1 for it, and I didn't even know what it was, but I picked it up and I flipped through it, and then I realized it's Shel Silverstein's Where the Sidewalk Ends, which is a book that we had often gotten from the library. We used to do poetry tea time, and my daughter absolutely loved it. That was one of her favorite things, and she asked if we could start doing that again. So one day a week, we're going to get out this book. We're going to read poems. We're going to have some hot tea or hot chocolate, bake some kind of little treat, just kind of bring back what we used to do and the things that they're missing too. So this will be once a week. I got this for all my kids, but mainly for my daughter. I thought she would enjoy it. So it's just Women Who Dared, 52 stories of daredevils, adventures, and rebels. And it's just about women throughout history and what they did in a time where it was difficult for them to do those things. So, and it's a super short read. It's one page, just something fun and interesting. And I think that she will enjoy because she's 10, so she's all about girl power, and girls can do anything, and they can. So, and then these two things will probably be every other day that we do the morning basket. Killian's curriculum, so he's in kindergarten, and I really do not want him to be actually schooling with the curriculum more than 2 hours a day. I would like to keep it at an hour and a half tops. So his big focus is going to be phonics and numbers. So I'm not worried so much about social study and science at such a young age. He's not going to retain much anyway, and he's going to relearn all that stuff in middle school, again in high school. But I still want to introduce him to topics like that. So to start out with, we are going to be using this is an old Usborne, old Usborne book. Now, I feel like I got these at the same time at the Goodwill, but The Time Traveler. Visit medieval times, the Viking Age, the Roman world, and ancient Egypt, because he's a little boy. Sorry about that, my phone died. But anyway, so this is all about what my kids are into. So it's just a lot of pictures and fun facts about those time periods. Vikings and swords and castles and knights and all that fun stuff. And then also I have this children's book of America, and it's just stories and poems of legends and historical facts and little songs of early American history. And so I think that's going to be fun. I think that all of my children, I picked it out with my youngest in mind, but I think all of them will really enjoy the read aloud time with this. And so that is going to be our September family basket. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.